Alright, welcome back. This video is going to serve as the instructional for the fitting of our repair kit to address cracking which occurs in the deck between this main arm and the rear deck. We identified that in the first video. This repair process quite a bit more complicated than the rear deck hinge or deck hinge upgrade kit. That's the one at the top. So if you feel uncomfortable at the end of this video with regard to installation of this kit, I'd say seek out support of your local track dealer. Hopefully they can fit this kit for you. The kit includes two bracings. These braces encompass cracking but also help distribute loading around the deck. There are a number of spacer plates, and we'll identify where they go toward the end of this repair. There are 16 1/4" rivets, and there is a number of 3/16 rivets which are installed into that rear brace. The first thing to do is to go ahead and remove this light bar and support it. You can remove it, there are QC plugs on it, and this side cover which I've already removed. This will reveal 8 3/16 rivets and 7 M6 fasteners. Before you go removing these, just remember there is quite a lot of spring tension on this rear arm. It's trying to pull or lift the deck back up, and as soon as we remove that weight from the deck, it's going to want to spring up. Usually I would support this arm with a 3/4 ratchet, and I just adjust it on top of a pin stand to take that load. In this video I'm going to attempt to muscle it because I know a lot of you are not going to have 3/4 inch breaker bars. You'll find, whilst there are some dangers to that, it is quite achievable. The other thing you're going to need is a rivet gun capable of pulling 1/4 inch rivets. It's quite a big rivet, and it is something you might have to borrow or go ahead and buy, God forbid. Alright, I'm going to go skip ahead, remove a lot of these fasteners. I'll leave a couple of rivets toward the end so that when I come back, hopefully I can try and convey how much tension is in this rear arm. As I indicated, I've removed those 7 M6 fasteners, and I've removed these 8 rivets. And after I'd removed the first and second one, I'd place those 4mm pin punches all the way through to, sort of secure or stop this from rotating. A few things to make note of. First of all, this rear push bar is only secured by the 3 fasteners on the other side, and so be very cautious about applying any additional pressure to that because you can damage it. Also be aware that this deck, before I started, was secured by the catches at the top, and so even with this disconnected, resting on the cardboard, you can see it is reasonably secure, but of course we're doing one side at a time, so just be aware of that. With regards to this spring, you can see that I can comfortably move that up and down, but we don't want that resting on that rear box just because of the powder coat damage. So if you do need to remove those pin punches, just make sure it's resting on something that won't damage the powder coat finish. I'm now going to go and clean these 2 surfaces up. That's the one on the deck and the one behind here, because there is quite a lot of debris, quite a lot of fretting from movement. It is cracked through, but as I indicated, this fan is in generally good condition, so this is all relatively early. I'm also going to make a minor modification to a rivet. This one here is a bit of a design fault. There's a rivet on the back side of this arm which interferes with the deck. It's not a big deal really in factory installations, but by the time we go and put this additional repair kit in place, it sort of fouls on our repair kit. So I'll bring the camera over, I'll give you a closer look, and then we'll go ahead and install that repair bracket, and we'll drill these holes out and insert those 1/4 inch fasteners. So at this point I've cleaned up these 2 mating surfaces. That's the deck, the back side of that arm. Underneath here there is a bracket to control racking, and so I've cleaned up both those 2 mating surfaces. I'm yet to clean up the rear push bar surfaces. I'll do those shortly. Importantly, you're going to install 2 spacers here, one at that front section and one on this rear section, so it's important they're nice and clean. I've also clearanced this rivet So that interferes in a factory installation between this arm and this deck. It's worse when we install, our repair kit. So I've just taken off the back half, taken that down flush. You can actually see where I've hit the powder coat with the power file. And so what I'll do now is I'll put this camera back on a tripod and we'll get that repair kit and those rivets installed. All right, so before you install the repair panel, what you'll need to do is confirm that both layers of this deck, so this outer skin that we can see, which is that top face, and the rear are flush with each other. During the process of removing those rivets, it is possible to push that inner layer in, and so find an appropriate tool and just make sure that it is pulled all the way out. The rivets, because of their design, if that's sort of more than a couple of mil too far in, it will grab, but it won't pull it up flush, and so you're going to have a defective repair. So just make sure that both layers are flush with each other before you go and install this trim panel. Much easier to do now. Sorry, this repair panel. So this repair panel, there is a left and a right, so just make sure you get the correct side. I'm going to slide that down into place, and I'm going to align these bottom two holes and push it all the way in. It is a pretty snug fit, and if at this point you've recognised that you haven't removed that rivet, just go ahead and remove that rivet. I'm going to use these two pin punches for alignment. And there's probably a few ways to do this. Obviously we need quite a quick and efficient way here. So what I do is I identify the hole that lines up the closest and gives us the most appropriate deck height in relation to this arm, which is on this occasion one of these central holes. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch drill bit, and I'm going to drill through both this arm, this plate which already has 1/4 inch holes in it, which is aligned, and then of course into the deck. I can now install one of those 1/4 inch rivets. I'm just going to make sure it's all nice and flush. And then I'm going to use these pin punches essentially to help me align the next closest hole. So I'm going to have to rotate that whole deck assembly like that, and it's probably going to be this top hole. Alright, that's good. We'll go ahead and put a second rivet in. And at this point there's so much clamp pressure there from just those two 1/4 inch rivets that I can remove those two pin punches. I can go ahead and drill the remaining 6 holes and fit those fasteners. So I'll do that now, and then I'll come back to you. So that's all 8 1/4 inch rivets fit, and I've gone ahead and put in those 4 3/16 rivets at the back. I'm going to go and fit the light bar now. What I want to do is try and get that camera around so I can show you the location of these 2 spaces. There's in the kit 4 spaces, 2 of these. There is not a specific left and right, but it is important that they are reinstalled before you go and fit those bolts up. We will do the rear push bar shortly after that. We've got to lower the deck because on the other side of this brace plate there is another 4 rivets to install. I won't show that process because it is essentially a mirror image of this, but essentially we're getting very close to the end of this repair. I'll go ahead and put this light bar back on now. So this is the point you need to install those 4 spaces. There's 2 on each side, one toward the front near the push bar, and I'd often put that one in from the top side. The rear one simply slides in, and a tapered tool makes installation a little bit easier. Once you've got those positioned, you can go ahead, do those 4 fasteners up for this brace plate, and you can go ahead and do those 3 up for the push bar. Alright, so once those 7 fasteners are back in, side covers on, that's most of the repair done. So you need to do both sides, of course, and I recommend doing one side at a time. This repair kit is available on our website. I'll leave a link in the description and a link to the deck hinge repair kit as well. If you've got any further questions, you can contact me through our own website. Again, there'll be a link in the description below. All right, thank you.